So, hello everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory. So last time we had finished off our time crystals and we had made an incredibly scuffed temporary power shard factory just to have some supply of extra power shards, which we have since this has stopped working. And how many power shards do I have currently? 22. Let's actually keep this guy going just a little bit longer. Just so that if I have some ability to power shard some machines in the power shard factory itself, I want to have enough stuff going to actually make use of that. So, in the meantime, let's look at our recipe that we're going to be doing here. So, we need 100 time crystals, 100 dark matter crystals, 600 quartz crystals, and 600 photonic matter. Alright, so the time crystals are easy. We're just importing those from the factory across the train tracks. The dark matter crystals are going to be a whole thing, but they're just going to involve looping back within this factory itself. So the photonic matter is free from a converter. So I guess let's figure out what it takes to get 100 of these. And we're going to be using dark matter trap because that is most efficient and it uses time crystals. So that's another 50 time crystals. So we have another 50 time crystals and 250 dark matter residue, which should be I'm pretty sure we just get that for free from this recipe. Yeah, so we're going to get 600 dark matter residue from this recipe. And we need to loop 250 of that back in. So we are going to go, 50 power shards plus 600 dark matter residue equals. Let's do that, and then we can abbreviate this to DMR as well. Alright, so the dark matter crystals are all sorted out. Next up we have to look at the quartz crystals, which, if we're going to get 600 of them, we're going to want to use the pure alternate. Technically we could do quartz purification, but that doesn't sound fun to me. That seems like a lot of extra work, and like adding nitrogen and stuff into this when it could be very simple. So we need 771 raw quartz. 771.43 raw quartz gives us our 600 quartz crystals, and then that's also 428.57 water. Alright, so that is that. Alright, that's everything. It's a very, very simple project. We might be able to get it all done today, in fact. That's how simple it is. Okay, so we need water. We have water over there. We need that for the quartz crystals. So we can just run up another pipe of water from over there, and that shouldn't be terribly difficult. And we might even be able to use headlift stuff to get it up. Okay. how much of this did we get in the meantime? Was it a decent amount? Let's see, we have 91 in there, another 22 in there. So that should be plenty. I don't intend to use that many power shards in this. So now we are going to tear this whole thing down and rebuild a proper factory here that actually does what we need it to do. That quartz elevator output thing, we can just keep that. We are eventually going to need that. Although we might need to speed it up a little bit. Alright, so all of this is going away. And just take all this stuff out and pick up our boxes. Alright, so we are back down to a good old proper setup. Now, if we need 771 raw quartz, we're going to need to make this a more permanent thing. So we're going to want to merge up across all of these. We're only going to need one belt, and we'll make it a Mark 6 belt just to prevent buffering related problems. It's not like we have a shortage of these parts. Alright, so then this goes across. And done. Now we are going to have to move that floor hole actually. So then this will go up to here. And connect up. There we go. So this is our raw quartz. And that's just going to come out somewhere. So now we need refineries, which we need it to be 2 inputs to 1 output. So this is wrong. Is it... That's 2 inputs to a fluid output, which is not what we want. This one, I believe, is correct. We have 1 solid output. We have a fluid and a solid input. So yes, that is everything we need. So let's pop you in. And now we have a good solid 4 refineries in a row. So let's set these to raw quartz. So pure quartz crystals. And we need 600 of these. And it's 52.5. So if you go just like 600 divided by 11, not quite. 600 divided by 12, we can get 50 each. 2, 3, 4. So just check. This is outputting 50 each. So this is going to be 200. So we need 3 of those. And yes, the math all lines up. I clicked on the wrong blueprint there. Alright, so then this goes like here. We can auto-connect them across. And 1 more. Alright, so that is the quartz refineries built up. Now we just need to get the foundation under them so that they don't look bad. There we go, and then we should probably just have this go out 1 more row as well. There we are. All done. Alright, so now we have that. these are taking 64 rock quartz each, so I need to actually go in and upgrade all of these belts here. So let's make sure that happens. Alright, that is that, and then we have these belts, which are going to be like 120 something, which we need to upgrade to Mark 3s. Where I wish I didn't make these so small. Fortunately, there are not that many of them. Alright, so those are all Mark 3s. And then we can get a splitter into here. And let's see here. I didn't copy paste all of them. I just copy pasted this first row. That's a good thing to notice. So let's go across to here. Alright, so these are 64.286 times 4 is 257. So each of these is 257, which means it can still be done with a Mark III. So we go there, there, and there. And then we take our Mark VI along to there. And that is quartz production once we get this all connected up to water. We will be all good. Alright, so we have that. Next step is, how fast is this? This is a Mark IV belt, but it's 600, so it needs to be at least a Mark V. And we have to get every little bit. Alright, so then this gets to go out into a sink, which of course the sink needs a little bit of an extra row, and a smart splitter. There we go, and now we can power the sink up. Okay, next step, let's put this foundation in since a belt goes over it. Next step is to get 428 water over here. So we're gonna have to grab that. We have a foundation and everything over here, and we should be able to do a head lift trick. I believe that what we have currently over here is pumped the entire way. But I think if we do a head lift trick, it should work just fine. So let's go over to here and pop an industrial fluid buffer. Just like somewhere in this area. And connect you up. And that might temporarily mess with this as this fluid buffer is going to be filling. But I'm sure that'll be fine. And it won't slow it down too much. Okay, so now we have to take this pipe down. And this pipe should bring water down to the bottom. And then we can use that head lift from that fluid buffer and the pump stack to bring another pipe of water back up. Got the ladder swapped over to this side temporarily. So down we go. This is a lot easier to do when you have most of this stuff set up. It would be easier if we even had a whole head lift setup going, but we did not do that last time, which is fine. So this needs to squeeze down the cliff like that. And then we are just going to put in a bunch of water extractors, and let's just do a full pipe's worth, even though we only need 400, just because having a good healthy spare is always nice to have. So this all goes in. And it's nice seeing a power slug there, knowing that we simply do not need to grab it at all. So we just have enough power shards at this point. Alright, so then this goes over here, and we're going to get all of these guys powered up. Like so. And then this pipe comes down here. And then we have to do the head lift trick. So we have a valve, which we're gonna set to 0, and then connect all that up. And now we get to bring this pipe up the same way the other one went. And then it can go up. I guess we need to sort of sneak around over this way. And then go up here. And then start going the rest of the way. So we are getting water flowing up this. And no water flowing down that, which is good. So the head lift trick seems to have worked. And now we can just bring this all the way up. And I can't remember what floor we put that fluid buffer on. We might need to put like one extra pump in order to get it up to the floor that it's on above the train tracks. But we also might not. We'll have to see. So we go up here. Okay, so this here is the train tracks floor already. So we need to just go over that way with this. Alright, so first of all, you come up to like there. And then you go here, and we're going to stay underneath the foundations so that we can dodge the tracks. And hopefully we don't fall. Hopefully we don't get too far away from any sources of power, because we will just fall a very long way if that happens. But we should be fine. There should be train tracks and stuff over here. Alright, so this just goes down and across this way, and I didn't mean to curve it like that. So it's going to be a bit of a weird shape, but it's not really worth fixing. Alright, so now we are already over here. And how much further do we need to go? We're basically there. Let's just pop a floor hole over there. And a floor hole over there. So then that connects into you. You come down to there. And then we put the water in that floor hole. So you go into there, and we should be all set. So let's see, the water is making its way up. And it's not quite up here, but it looks like it might be showing up. Yep, there it is. And the flow rate skyrockets, and we've got water. Alright, that was nice and easy. And now as long as it stays like this, we should be good to go. Alright, so these first couple are all running. Obviously it's going to take a little bit for the water to get all the way through. And I can help that out by looping the other end back. So you come over this way, and you can connect into there. So that should help with the manifolding, assuming that the water actually makes it, which it seems to have stopped. Wonderful. Alright, is that a full stop or a temporary stop? Are we too high up? Where? We must be just a little bit too high up. Because we were definitely getting to here before. Okay, maybe... Yeah, so let's just add in like one pump somewhere along this pipe and see if that fixes it, or if we are going to have more problems. So you get a Mark II pump, which should be more than enough. And you get powered on. And now that's 600 flow rate, that is 600 flow rate, and I believe we are doing it. It's looking good now. So the first couple ones are filling. We're getting some water around the back. And it should be getting through. So these still have water going in them. So does this one. Alright, so that should be quartz crystals all set up. And it'll take a little bit to get finished, but it'll get there probably relatively quickly since we have like, what, 170 some spare? So we have like 170 spare water, so it should get through pretty fast, and then it'll all be good. Alright, so with that done, that's our quartz crystals. So that is one input. Then the next thing we need is photonic matter. So we're going to need a bunch of converters for that, but nothing else. Photonic matter is... It uses power, and I think it's not a small amount of power, but it doesn't use any resources, which is very cool. Alright, so we just get one of you guys in, excited photonic matter, and we just need 3 of these. 1 and 2. And we need 1 more. So we get you in, and are these facing backwards? Yeah, I think these are facing the opposite way of how I want them. Let's tear them down and flip them around so that the outputs are going this way. Alright, now we just send a pipe across. And it's going to be exactly 600, so we might technically have problems with the outputs, but it should be fine. Copy, paste, paste. Now you all get your power pole, and that is going to connect up to that. And we're all good. So these are somewhere between 100 and 400 megawatts each, which, all things considered, is pretty small. So once we're done with the synthetic power shards, I think we're going to be moving on to a nuclear plant next to make sure that the power remains not a problem. We don't need that much more power because we are pretty close to done, but the last couple things are the most power intensive. So, you know, it would be nice to have a good amount. So these guys are all going. Their outputs are fast enough. So quartz crystals, check. Photonic matter, check. Next step is we need our dark matter crystals. And those are those in particle accelerators? Yes, they are. And we're going to need just one particle accelerator that's going to be overclocked a little bit. The late game machines do tend to be pretty quick in their production numbers, so that's nice at least. Alright, so in order for this, we first need actually a drone port. So, well, let's get the particle accelerator in and then worry about where the drone port's going to go afterwards. So we have a particle accelerator. You are making dark matter trap. And we need 100. So we need 50 time crystals, 250 dark matter residue. Alright, so for the time crystals, we have a drone port, and we need 150 time crystals total, because we need 100 for the final product. So this is power shard time crystals. Alright, so we have that. You are going to power it up, and might as well power you up as well. Then you get a drone. You get to go to... Did I not pop a drone port over here? I did. What did I call it? Oh, time crystal source. Right. Time crystal source. So you have that, you have the drone, and now we just need to give you a small amount of fuel, and you will be fueled up from the other side. And this is also a very quick trip. Alright, so we need 150 output. That means we start with a Mark III belt. Then we... Let's see. Actually, 270 minus 150. Is that easy? Yes, it is. Although, actually, that doesn't really accomplish much in terms of what we need it to be doing. So, we need this to be a smart splitter with a... Actually, wait, no. We need a priority merger first. It's been a while since I've done this exact thing. We need a priority merger, then a smart splitter. So this smart splitter is going to take a Mark I belt, and then 30 goes back there, 30 goes forwards. And then the other output of this is a Mark II. Alright, so we need to have that belt in. Then we have a Mark II, half of a Mark I. So this belt is 150, which is exactly what we need. And now let's take a splitter off. merge 2 of those up. And I guess pop that like there. So that's going to be 50, that's going to be 50, that's going to be 100. And this is going to be the 50 for you. Alright. So, we need you to be merged up. And all the rest of these, I think, are connected properly. Now we need this to be right any center overflow. And it should be fine either way. This needs to be priority medium right. Alright, so we have 120 on that belt. We have 60 divided by 2 is 30 on that belt. So this should be 50, and it would be if this were working. Let's actually just get a sync over here so that we can confirm the ratios correctly. So you go through to there and get powered up. And that's going to be a smart splitter, of course. Alright. So now we do see, I think, the occasional gap on this belt, which makes it 50 a minute. Alright, so we have that. Then the next step is the final step, actually. So the power shards are made in quantum encoders. So we're going to need a row of 10 quantum encoders. And let's have that on the next floor up, just so that we can make easier stuff for all of this space. Because we're going to need to get back into some of those machines, and going up and then down again, I believe, will be easier in terms of the space usage. Now, does this... Are the particle accelerators too tall for this? Yes, but only just barely, and we can just not build it directly above that. And that'll be fine. So we just build, and we build, and I just remembered I have a nice convenient blueprint for this. So this goes in like that. And we're going to need a lot of space for 10 quantum encoders, that's for sure. Alright, so that gets filled in, and then I guess we'll just figure out from there. Quantum encoders, they are hilariously long. They are so long. Okay, so we can't send them over there, because that's where particle accelerator is. We can put them here somehow. Actually, if we hit nudge, it lets us deal with the surface being too uneven. So I guess that's nice. Let's get the rest of this area covered up, though. And then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think that one is going to be encroaching on the particle accelerator. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we just need to expand out this way. So that's 7, 8, 9. All right. One more, but we're missing the fixite trigons. Also, we need to remove that one and that one so that the drone can go up and down without any problems. Alright, so now we have all these guys in. We can set you to synthetic power shards and start copy pasting the settings over. So these all get pasted across. Alright, so those are all set. We do want power lines over this way so that we can fly in that area. Okay, now we need 3 solid inputs and 1 fluid input and 2 outputs. Okay, that is gonna be mildly annoying, actually. And I don't think... Actually, let's make some space and see if these can fit in a blueprint. Can you fit... I imagine the answer is no. Yeah, so this is as big as they physically get. If we had Mark III blueprints, we could do something about that, but we don't. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, what we need to do is we just need to get some logistics floors in here, actually. So we need to dismantle all of these and move them a little bit up. I don't know why the dismantling is so efficient just now. Normally dismantling things lags like crazy, but it was fine that time, which makes me a little bit suspicious. Alright, so we only need like 1 logistics floor, I think. I think that will be good enough. And let's see, so when you get placed, you're like exactly flush with the top. So let's get this lined up properly. It's so hard to tell with power being what it is, but that does look correct from that angle, but not from this angle. So you just get shifted over 1, and we do a place. Alright, can I just get more power over here? Power line, you come back to there. You might be in the way later, we'll deal with that then. Alright, for now, this all gets a giant row of blueprints going across it. And then we get this row of no, not there, obviously. You go away. So now all of these go in. And that's not ideal because we have power poles sticking through, but it'll be fine. Did we overlap our drone hub? We did, just a little bit. Let's take off this last row here. So that can all go away. Okay, now we get our quantum encoders. So these can go in like this. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we need a little bit more space. Just a couple more rows. And we're going to have to take all these power poles up here down and move them over to less inconvenient spots. Alright, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that sounds right. 9 and 10. Okay. So these are all in. And we set the recipes. And then we're just going to have to bring a whole bunch of floor holes down. Alright, so this just gets pasted across. And there we go. So now, each of these... So these two get floor holes. We can deal with one solid and one fluid up here on this top floor. And then the other two solids are going to go down to the floor below. Wish I could do a blueprint for this, but alas, I cannot. Alright, so all this stuff goes in. And almost enough floor holes. Alright. That's all the floor holes we need. Now, all of these are pretty slow, right? The quartz crystals are 60 per minute. Let's do those up here. And the other two can just be Mark 1 belts going down to the logistics floor. So these all get conveyor lifts. Boy, do I wish that these fit in a Mark II Blueprint Designer. I think they might technically barely fit into a Mark III Blueprint Designer, which I don't have currently, so, you know. There's that. Alright, so those are all in. Now we have the quartz crystals to deal with, which should be relatively simple, because it's 60 a minute. So we can just do a speed balanced setup. Just get all of these guys as smart splitters. And we keep on going. Is this not... Why does that line disappear? Alright, there we go. We just keep on going. We want these to be all lined up for neatness sake. And one more. There we go. Alright, so now all of these connect into their machines with Mark 1 belts. So this all goes across. And we just keep going. Alright, now we have a Mark V belt going down the row. That will be supplying the quartz crystals to all of these. And then we have to set all of these to be right any center overflow. So down we go. And that is all of them. Okay, now I've just realized that this... We need more time crystals and more... what's it called? We need more time crystals and more particle accelerators to get the rest of the dark matter crystals out of this. because we do want this to export both dark matter crystals and power shards. So we're going to have to deal with that, which is going to mean these ratios are going to be different. But I guess we can just deal with that when we get to it. Although maybe the rest of them just go dark matter condensing. So this one is more efficient, and then the rest of them go into dark matter condensing stuff that should deal with all of the output, turn it into crystals, and still give us some. But let's see here. Dark matter crystals. So, dark matter trap is 5 to 2 in terms of dark matter to dark matter crystals. Dark matter crystallization is 10 to 1. But this also uses a non-trivial amount of time crystals. And we do need time crystals for these other things. Let's see, how many time crystals do we have? I think we have like 480. Or no, we have 960, I think. Actually, let's just go over there and check. Because I need to make sure this single factory is providing all the time crystals for for basically everything. I'm not planning on making any time crystals anywhere else. So this one spot does need to be good enough. So we have 15 per machine, and we have how many machines? 4. Let's see here. So that's 4. That's each of the second row splitters are 4. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. 15 times 32. So yeah, we have 480 time crystals. And if we have... So we need them for synthetic power shards and neuroquantum processors. How many do we need for this? We need 150. We're using 150 here for this, so that's 300, and then that leaves us 180 spare for dark matter trap. And that should be fine, I think. Well, we also... Okay, no, the place that we get time crystals for our construction is somewhere else, I think. So we don't necessarily need to worry about that quite so much. But let's see. So if we have 250 dark matter residue going down there, and 600 total, that means we have 350 dark matter residue. So 350 dark matter residue is going to be... It's going to be, what, 140 of these? So that's another 70 time crystals. So that's fine, actually. You can do that, no problem. Although it will mean changing this splitter, because now instead of 150 we need 220 total. We need another 70. So we can actually fix that relatively easily. Alright, no, I needed to not remove that. That one was important. Alright, so you are a smart splitter. So that's the 30 belt. Then we have you. And you go forwards and over this way, right any left overflow. So that should set this being back to what it was, but now we have this left overflow thing, which we need to get 70 out of, which we will just bring up, and we can do that on this logistics floor probably. That should be fine. Alright, so if we just cover that area over, we need to limit this to 70. So let's make sure to do that. So this is 120 going up. And we need to go over this way where it won't be in the way of that splitting over there. So we need to get this. So we have the Mark II. We have a priority merger. So that is a Mark II belt going into that. Now we have a conveyor splitter here, which splits off a Mark I belt, so that's 60. Now we need 1/6 of this to go forwards and the others to go back. So we split this into 3 and then into another 2. And then this merges up here to there and there. And then we just need that, that, and that to all merge up and return. So we have 60 here. Then it splits 3 ways to 20 each. Splits 2 ways to 10 each, and that is good. So now let's just make sure that this is a smart splitter with right any center overflow, and this priority merger is priority medium right. Alright, so then this merger here is our 70, and we can deal with that in a minute. So it seems like we haven't quite gotten it correct. Somewhere in here is a belt missing. So somewhere in here this is not connected up properly. There are time crystals in there. And then there are no time crystals on the other side of this priority merger. Is this priority merger like not connected up properly? Oh yeah, that looks weird. I don't know what that is. You're supposed to just go across like that. Okay, and then I don't know what that is. You were supposed to just go across like that. You go across like that. Alright, some weird stuff happened with the belt there, but I think we got it. So now we have time crystals over there. And hopefully that is correct 70, which we will deal with in a moment. For now, we need to get these guys all split up. So this is 100 of each. So we're going to go up to Mark II belts for the last row, but everything else could be Mark I. So we bring all these belts down. And we just keep going across. And just keep going. And there we go. So that is this row, which actually, this is kind of cramped. It might be easier to do a 60-40 split. Yeah, let's do some fancy stuff here. That'll be fun. So we have this in the way, which is not pleasant to deal with. But we can try to avoid using the Mark 5 for the 1 to 5 / 1 to 10 balancer. So this here is a 1 to 4, nice and easy. Then we go over here, and we have a 1 to 6. So those go there, there, all the way over here. Do the same thing for this other batch of 3. So you go there, and there, and there. And then we merge up these batches of 3. So we get that. And then we go all the way across to you. Alright, so now we have a 60 and a 40. So we just need to grab our... Let's see, what are we going to grab here? Dark matter crystals, probably. Yeah, let's grab our dark matter crystals and send them up. Actually, we haven't even done the quartz crystals yet. Let's do the splitting here. So all this is we have a smart splitter, which is center any right overflow, and we go to there, and then we go over to here. And so that center one should get exactly 60, the right one should get exactly 40, and then that will be that. And we just have to send this up somewhere where it can access this. Alright, so let's see here. Time crystals. Yeah, let's just bring the time crystals up. So this is a Mark II belt. Goes up there. And it snaps in. So this is left any center overflow. And that's a Mark II belt. So that is all fine. And it's here. So now this just goes around this way and a little bit further in there. Alright, so at first there'll be a bit of a wave of 60 each, and then this should balance down to the correct value. So that's time crystals. Check. Next up, we should really get the quartz up here. We just sort of forgot to do that. So we get you in and over there. And then you need to drop down through this floor, which takes you, no, that was slightly off, takes you through that corner, and then down a little bit more. And actually we're going to want this to just run along the ceiling to get over to there. So up you go. We don't even have a ceiling out this way, apparently. Let's make one. So then this goes up, and this is right any center overflow. And then this just runs along the ceiling over to here. And it just goes like that. And that is quartz, check. Time crystals, check. Only thing left is the dark matter crystals, which we are going to set up over here. And then we're going to have to do some special work with them in order to get them to work, because we're going to need to expand the production, and then they're going to have to be set up so that the correct values go in here, and then excess gets sent off to a drone port. Or a drone port or a sink, whichever ends up being useful. So this goes in. I'm going to do the same 40 and 60 split here because it's relatively convenient. Alright, so we have our 1:4 splitter. And then we go over here and we get our 1:6 splitter. So all the belts go in. And over here. You and you and you. Alright, now we're just going to have these guys merge up a little bit. Ooh, the lighting shifted dramatically there. Not sure why that was. Alright, so that goes 1 to 3, that goes 1 to 3. Alright, so that should be all. And then we just need a smart splitter here, which goes center any right overflow. And it takes that over and in. Alright, should be all clear now. So we just need to get 100 dark matter crystals into that. So, the dark matter crystals, we're going to need to adjust this a little bit. So let's expand this out some that way. Get another particle accelerator in. So this takes 250 dark matter residue to make 100. We need to take the other 350, which we could max overclock, but that's just going to be power inefficient. So instead, let's just take... Let's see, actually, how much do we need to get to 600? Or what was it that we were doing? 600 input, which would be 600 divided by 5 times 2. 600 divided by 5 times 2 is 240 output. And we can get 60 output per machine. So if we just have 4 normal machines, we don't need any overclocking or anything, and that will just be a lot easier. Alright, so let's get that power pole upgraded. Bring a new power pole over here. Upgrade power on those machines, and then get a little bit more space over here. Alright, so then that goes in like that. And now, actually, we have to do our time crystals differently. So currently we have it so that 70 go up there, 50 go over there, and 100 go over there. So actually we need to just take... Alright, this is a bit weird, but it's fine. We need to take this 70 up just over this way. So we still want this to be 50 because this is 150, which gives us our 100 over there, which is important. But then we need to just immediately merge them back up. So that is 50. This merger needs to be further along so that you can get into it. Alright, so now that's all in. We can now just get our splitters, which the time crystals here are 30 a minute each. So we can just use Mark 1 belts for this phase. All that goes in. And then we have a splitter which can face that way and go in like that. And then our Mark II belt of time crystals goes along there. And that should be time crystals applied to all of these. Just realized I didn't get one of them powered. Alright, so that is the solids done. Now we just need to get the dark matter itself. So we need to run a pipe along this way. And it is just going to go into all of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, then we send those down. So that will supply the dark matter into these. And then we will have our 240 dark matter crystal output, which we will then need to collect up and then split. So we need to send 100 into this system over here and 140 off somewhere else. So first off, we are going to merge them up facing this way. We've got plenty of room up on this logistics floor to deal with all that stuff. So let's do it up there. How much space did I leave here? It was like that, so right past the edge of the foundation. So those are all in, and they get Mark 1 belts for their individual things and Mark 3 belts for the main line. So we have those all connected up. Alright. Next we have a sink, which is going to need a bit of space. This last merger, I think, is going to be facing this way. So you face like that. And then we get a smart splitter going into that sink. And then we power you up. Alright, so obviously this isn't going to run until we jumpstart the whole dark matter crystal situation. But this will be center overflow left any. So now we just go up here and have our belt. So that goes like that. That's all set up. So this is going to be carrying 240. We need to get that down to 100. So first off, you get your output. Then you get a smart splitter So we send right any is going to be 100 and no, right any will be 60. Then we have a priority merger and another one there. So this line just all goes across. So then this one has to be 40 output. So you go like that with a Mark 1 belt. You send one looping back in, and the other two merge together like so. So now we have that. And this is a functional Mark III all the way along. Good. So we have 60 coming out of there, 40 coming out of there, and we can actually just combine that 60 in immediately. So this is right any, center overflow. This is priority medium right. This is right any, center overflow. All right. So this belt here is our 100. And we just take you over there and pop you in. Then we have this belt here, which is going to double back over here. This will be the extra 140 dark matter crystals that we're going to be exporting. And that is going to go into a drone port, which just goes like that. That's the fuel input, which we do need to use. So that goes in like that. Then we need a little bit more foundation over here to get this fueled up. So that goes in there. And then we have output directly into refueler. So this one is rocket fuel source. And this is dark matter refueler. Give you a drone. Give you a chunk of rocket fuel. And I need to actually just restock on rocket fuel. Let's grab some of that. Okay, so now we get to... Apparently we never powered any of these converters on. Whoops. Alright, so we get both of you connected up to power. Then we get that going down there. So this guy is headed off, and then this is dark matter source. And that is just going to sit there and take in anything that we need from that. Alright. So, what do we have? We have quartz crystals. We have these belts need to all go across. I just realized that those weren't connected. That would have caused a great deal of confusion. So let's get those going. And across we go. Fortunately, this is just about the easiest thing that you can do. Done. Alright, so the time crystals are up here. The dark matter crystals aren't. And that's because obviously we haven't booted that up yet. So the last thing we need to power these machines on, which I guess we can do now. We power them on and we get the photonic matter pipe in, which there's actually no reason to have done those on the floor below. It would have been a lot easier to just have those production machines up here. But it's fine. We've already placed them, and it's not that hard to just run a pipe. Alright, so these are now all powered up. What did I... Did I just connect... Did I just connect two machines across somehow? Yes, I did. Alright. So that's fixed. These are all powered up, and they are now getting their quartz crystals and time crystals. So we need to get the photonic matter up here, because it's going to take a little while to trickle through. Although it is a full pipe, so it'll be pretty quick, I guess. And we are probably going to have to do some sneaky stuff in order to get it to work. Although it's probably simple enough and stable enough that we shouldn't have any problems with the throughput. It is a gas. It is a gas. It's only coming from like 3 machines. Hopefully it'll be fine. Alright, so this all goes across. And then the pipelines go in. And hopefully I haven't missed any. So these all go down like that. And there. Alright. Now we just run over to connect this pipe up to the photonic matter pipe, which is right down here. So let's get a couple of flow holes down. And that goes down there, which then goes down there, which then goes down there. And we have photonic matter going across. And it should fill up pretty quickly since none of these are running at the moment. So that is 500 some going through right now and skyrocketing. How much photonic matter stacks? Does it stack to like 100? Let's see here. Yes, so it stacks to 100. So we're just going to have to wait a bit. If we're getting 600 a minute, we have 10 of these, and it stacks to 100. It should take a minute and a half, slightly more than that, to fill up all of these machines. Add another 20 seconds to fill up the pipes themselves. And then that will be good. And then the next thing we have to do is get the dark matter crystals going. So I want this to get started up immediately, and we needed theoretically 250 dark matter residue input to get the supplies just for this. So that means how much dark matter? Oh right, I don't have any spare dark matter. Right, of course. Okay, I also want this dark matter output. I just realized I haven't at all finished setting this up. So let's get you in. Get you across. So you are a smart splitter. And then our next output past that is going to be a storage depot with a dimensional depot on top. And so we just do that. and then that will be that. So then we'll be able to jumpstart dark matter related things when we need to. This brought fuel back, by the way. That's pretty convenient. Okay, so last steps here. We need to hook up these outputs, which we're going to bring the power shards over this way. And over we go. And I might... Well, yeah, I'm probably going to want to make ionized fuel with this, as well as just what we're doing for crafting and stuff. Because we want to make sure that it's all running constantly, which means having an output for the power shards, which can't be sunk naturally. So we need to just bring this over to our rocket fuel plant. I think the recipe is just rocket fuel plus power shards. So that should be fine. Just pop these guys in a drone, bring them over there, and then make some ionized fuel with it. And that'll obviously be the spares past what we need for Dimensional Depot, which is the first priority. But for now, what we need to do is we need to get the production actually running, which means we need to get this dark matter loop back. So this pipe just runs all the way across this whole thing, right here on the edge. Make sure not to have any stops directly in front of an output, because that gets in the way of the junctions. So now we put the junctions in, and I probably could have had these running in advance, but it's fine. So this is going to be, what, 600 dark matter output, right? Total? Yes, so we don't need a second pipe or anything. This will be good enough. Barely. And even if it isn't, it's probably fine. Alright, so that. Now all these connect up. And then we just need to do the fluid input to the particle accelerators down by the time crystals, and then we will be all set. And then we just have to throw some of the dark matter crystals we have in our inventory into stuff. Okay, so yeah, we just have to take this pipe, connect it down to that pipe, and that'll be that. So that can go out like that or something. Then if we put a floor hole on it, let's get a new junction in there because the existing junctions are kind of annoyingly spaced. Alright, we want to have it go through this floor as well. So let's get that. So you go down to there. And then down to there. And then that connects to there, and we should be all set. Alright, I think if I just throw some dark matter crystals in here, it'll start to work. So, in order to get it to work immediately, I think we throw in like 100 some in each of the first 5, and that should give us 300 dark matter residue per minute, which is enough to fuel the machines doing the power shards. Alright, so that is jump started. Okay, that's not good. Our production is having issues now. That's potentially a catastrophe. Alright, we're going to need to go over there, and it's fine because we were going to want to go over there and check that out soon anyways. But now it is urgent. So we're just going to finish up here and then make our way over. So we need a sink and a drone port. Alright, so this is the extra space we need. Oh wait, we can't actually do a sink because it's power shards. Right, so we just have a dimensional depot storage. So you go there. And like that. And like that. Dimensional depot up there. So that's all set up. And then we have a drone port or two for rocket fuel. Oh, I actually know what's causing the power. The power probably fluctuates like that because I just turned on the packagers to fill up a new drone port with fuel. That might happen every time, actually. Alright, so let's avoid doing that again, because the factory might explode. Instead, let's go over here, chop that off, pop a splitter there, so you go there, and then the other one can go up this way. Which we just need it to line up something like that. And then you go there. Now we can bring this fuel over to the power shards. Alright, so the ionized fuel production, I think it won't, once we get that set up, it won't actually like pay for itself. I think I've heard people on Reddit complain about that the power demand of doing this of making the power shards is too high to actually get like net fuel out of the whole situation. But it will at least give me something of a refund. So this is power shard source. And then we power you on, back to there. And we are going to say, for now, split them evenly, I think, because I kind of want some of both. Alright, so how is our dark matter supply going? It is coming. It's just taking it a while to get through all the way to the very end. So this whole thing will be booting up soon. And hopefully our power recovers by then. I really, really do not like this at all. Alright, we are getting dark matters in now. So all of these machines are starting up, and that might hurt a little bit. Hopefully it's fine. Yeah, so we're going to be making ionized fuel now to get a bit of a refund on the power used to do this. And then our next goal is going to be a nuclear plant, which is going to be suitably enormous. And then hopefully that will deal with everything. Alright, so it looks like we're not quite there yet. But we are close to having this go full power. There might just be some weirdness on this guy's side. Yeah, so now you're going full steam ahead. So that's going to be 50 power shards per minute. And currently splitting them evenly between that and this. The rocket fuel is getting over here. So that's cool. Next step is, let's see, so this has plenty of rocket fuel still, so hopefully we won't have to do another trip for that anytime soon. Some spare dark matter is getting through and unloading. That's a good sign. And then this looks like 100 to me. So that's a Mark 1, and it's full. That's a Mark 1 that isn't full. So yeah, should be all set on that front. And it's just a matter of how long that'll all take to get going. So these ones are going strong. Not quite 100% yet. So I guess the dark matter residue output hasn't caught up to the full speed, but it's getting there. It's up to 530 now. So that'll take a little bit. These guys are making funny animations, like a disco thing or something. Don't know what that's about. Anyways, so dark matter crystals, we have 100 and some. Power shards, we're up to basically at the point where we're never going to be able to use all our power shards from this point on. It's actually simply going to be impossible. And this has all fueled up. So when we send a drone here, it will arrive safely. Right, weird spacing on the belt there, but that's probably fine. It's just because of the support, I guess. Alright. So I think that should be just about everything. Now this has a lot of dark matter crystals backed up in it. Oh, I see, actually. These are... Wait, why are you 100 per minute? You shouldn't be, right? You should be 60 per minute. Yeah, we had left some power shards in, so that'll be good for saving a little bit of power, I guess. I don't know if this... So this maximum transfer rate is 4.36 stacks per minute, or 720 items per minute, which is well more than we need. So the drone is just sitting there doing its thing, and that's fine. The power grid is still shaky. Alright. So we have our power shards. So that's that. So next step is to go just over to the east to our power plant, hook some ionized fuel up. Actually, we need to unlock ionized fuel first. What does that even require? Let's see. Is it like in sulfur? Yes, it is. We need a stack of rocket fuel. So we grab a stack of rocket fuel. And we have the hard drive, we have the power shards, so we can just click on that and get ionized fuel researched.
Ionized fuel unlocked. The origin story of this extremely efficient type of fuel was so fascinating it resulted into a new joke. I will tell the most popular version. A cow, power slug, and rocket scientist walk into a bar. The rocket scientist wants a milkshake, and so transportation was forever changed. Any historical inaccuracies have been removed by the Fix-It Department of Historical Reinterpretation.
Alright, so this produces compacted coal, which I guess I could technically use for something, but I'm just going to sink it And then it is just rocket fuel plus power shard equals win. And if we have 50 power shard production, we are going to need 20 machines of this, which is 100 and... well, it's quite a lot of rocket fuel, actually. So that's good. I guess that'll make our power production a lot more efficient, assuming we can get it working. Now we just have to head over there and get this set up. So the important thing is we need to not disconnect the existing fuel, because the supply of power shards theoretically could be intermittent if we use a bunch out of the dimensional storage or something. So we don't want to be 100% reliant on that. But it's a small thing, probably. Like, it should be fine. But we do need to make sure that the priority is making the ionized fuel. We do not want to be throwing away fuel on just rocket fuel if we have the ionized fuel anyway. Actually, what machine is this made in? Just a refinery? Just a refinery. Cool. And then we're also going to want to set up a packager so that we can get some fun, juicy rocket fuel stuff. And that'll be fun for the jetpack. I think we're going to leave the drones. I think we're going to leave the drones on rocket fuel, just because it's already all set up like that, and it would be a lot of work to fix it. Alright, so step one is to figure out what is currently interrupting the fuel production. Step two is to upgrade it with ionized fuel production. Alright, so the sulfur supply is currently going through. Okay, I sure hope there's a power pole down there for me to land on. Okay, I think there isn't, but it's probably fine. Alright, so we land here. Sulfur is looking good. So we can just slide jump on over. Yeah, so sulfur is fine. That's definitely not the problem. Oh. Of course, there's a random little power dead spot right in there. I knew about that. Let's just fix that so that that isn't a thing anymore. Alright. Are all of these guys going at 100%? So this is the rocket fuel production. And it all looks good just visually. Just taking a glance at it, that all looks fine. And if we check this, it's definitely wobbly though. So, don't know what that's about, but my suspicion remains that it is the, what's it called? Just the drone system taking some to package. Yeah, that's definitely what's happening. So we have, what, this much rocket fuel we have 120 rocket fuel per minute that's just being packaged and sent off rather than actually being useful. Alright, so that is probably the source of the issue, and that's fine. I'm not worried about that at all. So the power should recover once this is all done. Once this is all done going, power should recover and we should be fine, hopefully. Because I don't see any other issues. I see a whole lot of green everywhere I look. Alright, so now let's set up the ionized fuel. So we have the pipes here. Now I need to make sure that these pipes will prioritize going to the ionized fuel once I have it. Which... How much... Okay, how much pipes do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Maybe 6? I don't think all these pipes are full pipes, but we have a lot of fuel here. Let's see here. You are almost nothing. Weird. You're 515. You're 600. 500, 500, 600, 387. Alright. Well, most of these are pipes of 600 at least. So if we want to do the ionized fuel, and we have 50 power shards per minute, then we would have, what, twice this times 10. So it would be 800 rocket fuel would be going to the ionized fuel. So that would be like 2 pipes worth. So we can just grab that off of like the 2 pipes which go up towards the very top row. So we can just go like here. And I just realized that this is going to cause absolute carnage in the power until it recovers and starts making the ionized fuel. So if anything we were to do were to crash the grid, it would be this. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And hopefully the rocket fuel packaging situation can be finished before we get around to doing this. Alright, so let's get everything in and put off setting the actual pipes in as much as possible. So that... Actually, is that true? So if we have the pipes going in from the start, then that would mean that there's the least delay possible between the pipes getting fully utilized and the power output coming through. But it would mean that we're draining a bit of fuel throughout the entire process. Like we would be draining fuel while the refineries fill, for example. And that could be catastrophic. How much power storage do we have? Practically nothing. Alright. Wonderful. That's not good. So the refineries here are 2 inputs to fluid, which I actually made just recently. And we need 20 of these refineries. Okay, actually that's not how I want that to be facing, because that is going to be in the way. So let's face them this way. And we just get them lined up like this. And now we can put in our foundations. Alright, why are you not lining up? There we go. Now you've lined up properly. Alright, so let's get a couple of those out. We need 20 machines. So that's 5 of these, because of course it is. Oh, that's the 2 solid 1 fluid blender. This is the 2 inputs to fluid refiner. So that's 4, 8. We need to hook these guys up to power poles so that we don't fall out of the sky. Where are the power poles? Gotta be... Yeah, there's some in with all of the fuel generators. Didn't have to go down a floor for that. I could have grabbed it off the immediate floor here, but either way works. So we have those. 1, 2, 3. That one is 4. Now we bring the power along. And we need 1 more. So that. 2 inputs to fluid refiners. Alright. So this is in. And now we need to get in our ionized fuel, our power shards. So we are going to need this. Apparently I missed that spot. So we just need a drone port, which can just go somewhere like there. We shouldn't need too much space here. So this is ionized fuel power shards. Give you a starting boost, and unfortunately grab another stack off of that. Then you get powered up, and then you get sent to the power shard source and put a drone in, and it apparently had exactly enough fuel there, so it'll be refueling from the other side, so it doesn't need any here. And that's all good. Now we just need to get this stuff all 1-to-5 split, which is apparently pretty cramped, so I guess we are just going to awkwardly move it over that way. I didn't place it right. Alright, so you go like that. The one that's actually auto-connected is correct, so we don't need to do anything there. And then you go in there. And we do not need Mark 6 belts for all this. So let's just downgrade those ones. And then you go along to there. You go along to there. And then you go along to there. Alright, let's make this one a Mark 1 as well, just so that it looks normal. And same thing with you. So those are all Mark 1s. And the drone is off getting its stuff. Now, this needs to get set, so it's not the turbo fuel recipe. You are making ionized. Oh wait, this has 2 outputs because they're concrete. Of course it does. Alright, so we could just add that in, but it's actually going to be kind of awkward to do. So instead, we take all of those guys out, and we just have a 2-to-2 refiner blueprint in here somewhere. 4 X refineries. And, nope, that's the wrong one. 3 X refineries? Nope, that's only fluid inputs. 2 X refineries? That's 2 input. Do I not have a blueprint for 2 inputs to 2 outputs? I must not. Weird. Are you that? No. Alright. I guess we'll make one now then. So let's grab some extra space back here for the blueprint designer. And we can just load up a refiner blueprint to get us most of the way there. So we can load this blueprint up. It's got the inputs and everything. And while we're doing this, I might as well set them to ionized fuel. Paste that setting across. Okay, so the input side is correct, and I really need to get this power pole over to here so that I can fly around. The input side is correct. It has everything we need. The output side, we need to shift this around a little bit. So the pipeline needs to go up to get out of the way of a belt. So all of this gets dismantled. Alright, so now we have our belt, which is going to be making some compacted coal, which we might actually be able to use somewhere if we bother. How much compacted coal does it make? Not that much. We're going to have a total of... Well, we have a total of 50 power shards. We're going to have a total of 100 compacted coal. So I guess we make those tier 2 belts. And then all these guys get to be tier 1 belts. Then we have the pipeline, which goes across this way. And that will be our main output. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. So that is that. Now where is the... There it is. You can just click down. So this is 2 to 2 refiner. 2 to 2 refinery, which hopefully I'll just remember what that means when I'm looking for it later. And now we just dismantle all of that. And now we get these placed in. Now, the input side is... This is the input side because it's got the balancing thing instead of the manifold. And I actually have these belts which tell me exactly where I should put this. But I am going to move it back just like the tiniest bit so that we can connect the belts in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should be able to place this from the ground level. There we go. So they're all placed. Now we connect them up to power. So you can just go across to there. And then these power poles go across and get the whole row activated. No, why don't set a new power pole off there. Instead, you just go over to there. So these are all set up. They have the ionized fuel recipe, and they're ready to go. We just need to connect them in to the power shards, which should be coming back any second now, I would think. Is that actually them? There's a drone directly above us, which may or may not be the one we're looking for. I don't see it. There it is. Is it going to be coming up here? I bet it is. Wait, are you not powered up? You're not powered up, are you? You need to be powered up. Okay, that was a bit weird, but whatever. Okay, that's definitely the right drone. And yeah, there it is. It just phased through the bottom of the drone port, as one does. And now this will be providing us with some power shards. Not all the power shards, but because we don't have a full box in the dimensional storage yet, so this will be only 25 power shards per minute. But it'll still be fine. Alright, so that is there, and here are the power shards. We've got a good, solid couple stacks of them. So that'll be fun. Now they're gonna absolutely teleport through this splitter, which is gonna be fun to see. And then instantly be slow again on the other side, because why not? There we go. They just zip along. And the good news is that this should keep them balanced pretty much right away, since all of the loop backing is happening within this. Alright, so that is power shards supplied. And we just have to sync. Okay. These are not auto-connecting properly, but that's fine. It's close enough. Did I just see a red light down here? Yes, I am seeing rolling red lights in this section. So that's always a terrible sign, but that's the one that's connected up to the rocket fuel, right? So that's not surprising that it's not going to be very consistent. And now we just have to hope that the rocket fuel gets all filled up and fine. Alright, so this is going. It has its power shards, and we're going to need to do a loop around here to fill this from both sides, because it wants 800. So we grab this pipe, and this just comes along here. And now it is time. Well, let's see. I don't think we can afford to connect this up yet. The longer we delay on doing that, the less of a problem there will be, I think. So let's just leave this as it is for now. But eventually we are going to go through and we're going to connect these two guys up to these two pipes. And then that should hopefully prioritize the ionized fuel, make a whole bunch of that. But before we do that, we need to actually get the ionized fuel powering some. We actually have to get some places for the ionized fuel to go. So let's just go up to this floor and get some foundations in. If I recall correctly, we didn't actually put foundations beneath all of the pipes on this. So if we just go like this, how much are we going to need for this? So if we go fuel generators, valve V2, fuel generators, valve, fuel generator. Alright, so this one is a very basic blueprint. It's not the 1X fuel generator. So it's probably fuel generators, valve V2. probably the final one. So let's get some foundations down. So this is going to align with this row, like that. And then we need to put this on a hotbar. What are the things on this hotbar? Oh, it's already actually on the hotbar. That's great. All right, that also makes me much more confident that this is the correct one. All right, so we need to place you in there, hold you, and check that the pipe is heading the right way, and I think that's the way I want it to go. So let's place you in and get a couple of these. Alright, so hopefully... Sorry about that. I just sneeze real quick. Hopefully this will be enough power. I mean, this is not that many fuel generators at all. So how much power do we currently have spare? I mean, we still have a good 30 to 40,000 spare power most of the time. So that's probably fine. And we need to actually get this going just so that I know how much it physically outputs, like how much each of these generators can take. Because without that, we're sort of... I don't know how many machines to build. So let's get that in, get you up. These valves aren't set to limit anything, they're just set to be doing that. Alright, so right now this is going to be connected directly in. In the future we are going to be splitting it across a bunch of things. Alright, now you can go up the wall and then up into that. Alright. Is there anything... I guess we can place a bunch of batteries. That's something that we can do in order to make this less risky. So if we have batteries, it will potentially help delay things. So let's just create a nice big area here. And blueprints, I go battery store. Did I ever make a blueprint for this? What are they called? Power storage. I must not have power storage battery. No, I must not have made a blueprint for it. So let's do that now. So we just get a blueprint designer in and get a whole bunch of these guys and just physically as many as we can fit / build. And I'm gonna need power over here so I can fly. So this power pole comes over this way, and then we're probably gonna want another one over there. Alright, so that is as many as we can fit, apparently. And then these all get placed. And we're going to run out of wire in a minute. Alright, so this is as many batteries as we can possibly fit with a single dimensional storage worth. So these can daisy chain, which is quite convenient. I don't know why nothing else in the entire game can daisy chain, but these guys can. Alright, and then we need you to go across like that. And then we need just like a power pole. Might as well be a Mark III. Just, we can use that little gap for it. And now all these guys are connected up. So this can be our battery blueprint. So let's just call that battery. Save. Clear the designer. And dismantle the designer. And now we can just place this down. Hopefully a couple of times. If we have... Oh, we don't have enough modular frames either. Alright, well that's fine. At least we have this, and it is now connected up to the grid. So that adds a decent chunk to our stored charge. And charge rate of 2,200 megawatts. Is that just like based on... Yeah, these guys can only charge at 100 megawatts, I guess. Alright, so they are going. And I don't know how much time to give them. I kind of want to just bite the bullet and turn it on to see, although that would make... It would make adding these batteries in somewhat pointless. But if we're only going to let them fill to like 1%. But I do just want to see what happens here. So power is up to a point where it's more stable than it was. So because these only charge at 100 megawatts, it's always basically going to take an hour to charge, no matter how many batteries you have and how much spare power you have. That's kind of weird. Alright. Yeah, we're still short a bunch of stuff for those. That's fine. We'll deal with them later. And in the meantime, I think we're going to bite the bullet. So these are our two pipelines that go, well, almost all the way up to full floors. Alright. Well, here we go. If this crashes the entire thing, then we'll be in trouble. Hopefully it won't. We are adding a little bit of power production on to get it started. Alright. Let's see here. We're still fluctuating. This takes 24 seconds to make any ionized fuel. And this is going to probably drop by quite a bit in the meantime. Maybe I shouldn't have this entire thing connected on all at once. Okay, yeah, the power is definitely going down. Let's see here. I'm gonna save the game here just in case. This should be early enough that if something goes catastrophically wrong, I can save it in time. Yeah, those numbers are getting pretty close to each other. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. We are doing something very risky here, trying to get ionized fuel going. So we have this pipe going up now. So these machines are producing, and they take 3 per minute. Okay. So 3 per minute per machine means that each one of these rows does 12. So we need 800 divided by 12. 70 some of these. Alright. Oh, we actually have all the power shards we could ever use now, so let's actually do that. So these are just as efficient with power shards. So we can paste those across to get this going extra fast and save some sanity. And I could probably just put that in the blueprint. Alright, so now these each take 7.5 per minute and they make 625 megawatts. Alright, power is still functioning. And this is 7.5 times 4. 7.5 times 4 is 30, so each blueprint does 30, so we need 800 divided by 30. We need like 30 blueprints. Okay, that's could be a lot worse. Surprisingly. Alright. So, we need to just get more of these guys in. And so you are facing the right way. And now we just have to auto-connect these in. So this is 8 blueprints. And let's extend these rows. I just realized that most of these probably aren't even attached up to the power grid. They're just burning fuel for fun. So let's make sure to get them connected in, because that is going to be some valuable extra power. Okay, so these ones back here need you to be powered up. And then we need these to get all powered up. I haven't gotten any alerts about batteries draining, so that's a good sign. Alright, then you connect across. It's gotten close at some points, but we're still okay, I think. Alright, so we need this rocket fuel to go across to this other row as well. Or not rocket fuel, even ionized fuel. Alright, so you can come out here and not do that. And then you go across and pump some ionized fuel into there. So this should get these guys running. And now we just need to paste some settings across to everything that's green and not blue. Which is this entire row plus a little bit at the end. Okay, that lag spike disoriented me. Where are we pointing? Pointing this way. Okay. Cool. So we just get this going back to there. And we get this pasted in. Alright, so that is all that. And this is 7.5 times 4 is 30. and 800 divided by 30 is 26. And we have, I believe, 2 rows of what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 8 here. That's 2 rows of 4. So we can just expand these along a lot more. And we're going to continue to have rubber problems in all likelihood. And we don't need you to get placed up there. Dismantle blueprint mode. There you go. Help. Alright. Please get us back to power. There we are. Alright. So that's that. These look like they are more or less filled. And oh, this belt needs to get connected across. That's important. So we need to do this, and then we need to get a sink. Okay, this is fine. Everything is going fine. We have rocket fuel in this system, and the power hasn't crashed. So now, theoretically, any additional rocket fuel that we drain will just be converted immediately into ionized fuel and generate power. So let's get all of this compacted coal out of here so that this can actually work properly. Okay, now we can get back up to what we were doing, and we need to fill inventory with rubber and motors for now, probably other stuff as well, but those were the 2 things which I was running out of immediately. Alright, let's get those settings pasted into here so that these couple have their power. Alright. So we aren't getting enough rocket fuel back here to power these ones permanently. And also they aren't even connected up. Oh, so this one's facing sideways, I think. Yeah, this one's like over here somewhere. Alright, something weird happened with these in terms of how they decided to build. So we need to fix that. So you come from over there, and you need to go over to there. Alright, so that should get these guys going now. And our batteries are still filling, so we're doing better than ever on the power not exploding and dying front. These machines are starting up. And then we're dying every so often because that's how this works sometimes. Alright, so this is going. It's going, and power is in the clear for now. Alright. I really need to keep track of how many of these I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, so I have 10 times 30, so I have 300 fuel capacity here. So each of these rows is 150. So if I... how do I get this to divide evenly, because 80 divided by 150 is gross. Divided by 120 is gross. Let's see, what does it divide by? 200. Alright, so it divides by 200, which isn't very useful. 160, which isn't very useful. I don't know, we're just gonna... So if these are 150, then we're gonna add another batch of generators on the back. And how do we know which way it's meant to be facing? Alright, at this point it's supposed to be like this, and like this. So now I have 2 rows of 180, which adds up to 360. So if I then just add another couple in this row, alright, so this is now capable of handling more than 400, which now we just connect back. So we get all of these guys connected up to the grid. And we get all of these guys connected up to the grid. Like that. Let's grab rubber and motors. Alright. So now we paste our power shards in. Do I need to grab? I probably need to grab more power shards. Yeah, so there we go. Now we have these guys all running. Alright, then we go over here, do the same for these ones. And just keep on going. There. Alright, so now these are all set up. Check the power poles. We are going up in terms of power. It's not 100% stable, which is fine. So we only have 400 right now because the power shards, we don't have quite enough of them. Oh wait, that's actually very bad. So these are going to come in bursts, I think. And whenever the drone is away, this is going to be, this whole thing is going to stop, which is pretty bad. Although I guess when it's here, it sends enough of a surplus through that it's fine, probably. I mean, this will last for a good while. Alright, so let's get this connected up a little bit so that we have more throughput. So you go across like that. These ones are not running at 100%, but if we saw that there was a lot of rocket fuel, or ionized fuel, I keep calling it rocket fuel. There's a lot of ionized fuel just in the pipes down here. And we can fix that. So if you get connected up to the other side of the input, now we can fully drain all of these guys of their ionized fuel and get a much, much better chance that this whole thing actually goes. Alright, so that is technically like half of what we could build. Now we have this weird oscillating pattern in our power production, which I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully it's fine. So then the next thing that we want to do real quick is we want to set up a packaging system for ionized fuel. And we do not want to go crazy with it. So we just have a packager which is set up to do packaged ionized fuel. Then do we have... No, we do not have fluid tanks in dimensional storage. Alright, well anyways, let's start by getting you attached up to that and attached up to a power pole. And then we are going to have this. We don't even want this to go into a box because I do not want to risk it. We're just going to have you go directly into a dimensional depot uploader so that we keep relatively small quantities of packaged ionized fuel at all times. And then our other packaging is like all the way over there. Let's just set up a new drone port to grab us some of this. So you are going to take your input and just go around into that. And then you are going to be ionized fuel aluminum. Oh, I realized I set this up wrong. That's fine. So you can go to the aluminum source and get a drone. Alright, so you need a constructor in between. Alright, so then you get half a stack of rocket fuel and a power line. So you're going to go off, grab aluminum, and then you're going to make it into empty fluid tanks, which are then going to go along there. And then that gets powered up as well. And let's, I guess, in order to, because I'm pretty sure the aluminum side isn't fueled. So congratulations, you get to be the one and only ionized fuel powered drone port, because getting the rocket fuel all the way over here would be annoying. Alright, so we just need to... Do I even have aluminum ingots? I do. So I can yoink some of those, throw you in, and start making 60 empty fluid tanks per minute, which is going to be more than enough. We can actually set this down to 40, I guess. Might as well. And then this is going to make our packaged ionized fuel, and then we will be able to go flying around like crazy on the jetpack. Okay, now these guys aren't getting any rocket fuel, which is terrifying. Some of them are. Right, so we only have this set up so that half goes this way. Okay, so what I can do, and this is incredibly scuffed, is if I just do something like this, and valves control flow direction, now we should be getting like 3/4 down this way, probably. And who knows what that'll do to my power. It'll either make it better or worse, or make no difference. Brilliant. Alright, so this is now getting its fluid tanks, and we are now packaging some ionized fuel. So we're going to have 1 dimensional depot's worth plus 1 stack, and then this is... Right, we just have to take that out so that this can filter into here as well. So now we go packaged ionized fuel. Alright, let's figure out what this is like. So we swap to the jetpack. We swap preferred fuel to packaged ionized fuel. And alright, it seems... I mean, we can definitely gain some height with this, and we're not even halfway. Alright, let's just do a good old fair comparison. So we drop down... I'm gonna have to drop down pretty far to get a good benchmark. So let's stand here and just hold solid, which is of course not the way you're supposed to do this, but if we were to, we would get all the way just about up to the top floor, and then we can swap to the parachute to land safely. So ionized fuel gets us just about to the top floor. Now rocket fuel, if we do the same thing, seems like it goes faster, but doesn't have nearly as much stamina, basically. So that, yeah, so the ionized fuel is definitely more convenient. I mean, we can go up forever with this, basically. Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit less snappy than the rocket fuel, but it sure does last. And it's only like marginally less snappy than the rocket fuel too. It's not like it's a major thing. Alright, so we have our packaged ionized fuel. Check. We have our ionized fuel production, which is reliant on power shard production, which I sure hope is working properly. Alright, so we go up here. Now, yeah, whole segments of that are dead. Meanwhile, these ones are going crazy. So we're just going to hope that that works out. It should. It should be fine. Okay, the power actually looks, if anything, marginally worse now than it did. Yeah, I'm really very not pleased with the power situation currently. But it is what it is, I guess. This is the price we pay for having a whole lot of ionized fuel. Now, it's possible that these will go back up again as this saturates. Let's swap back to the hover pack. I like being able to stay just like on solid ground. Alright, how much power shards is that? That's giving like 20 power shards. So yeah, we're definitely pulling more rocket fuel out of that than we strictly need. And our power shards seem like they have some sort of problem. It feels like it should be more than that, but who knows? Let's respawn and head back to the power shard production area, see if there's anything wrong there, which there very easily could be. Oh, ionized fuel is gonna make the hypertube cannon so easy. Yeah, this is great. This is incredible. We don't even need to worry the slightest bit about running out of jetpack fuel. Alright, now we're here. Back to the hover pack. And it looks like everything is going at 100%, just at a glance. Let's get a throughput monitor here. This should be 50. And we should get 25 this way, 25 this way. So it seems to be alternating between a bunch of numbers, but it's currently looking more in the 40s. Although there's a big batch of 5 in a row, so maybe that'll do it. No, this is definitely down in the 40s, which means something is wrong. So you're at 100%, you're at 100%. 100% there, and there, and there. That one's going... Okay, this one is at 51%. That one's at 49%. That one's at 50%. This one's at 49%. Okay, so we're getting half as many time crystals. Dark matter crystals look fine. We're getting half as many time crystals to this side of things. So, if I remember correctly, this is supposed to be 100 here, 60 to there, 40 to there, and that's definitely not what's happening. It is getting some, so we're getting like 80 time crystals, right? Because it's 60 straight through, and then only 20 to the side instead of 40. Alright, so... Let's see here. You have plenty of time crystals here. And you are going through... Alright, let's see. There's nothing coming through there. Did some weird loop get placed in wrong? Oh, this probably... Yeah, you just need to have any output to the right so that we get some going through there. And that should help that out a fair amount. And hopefully that's okay. It will take a little bit to filter through, but it seems like it should be getting there now. So we have more time crystals going through this. Probably like an additional 30 or so. Yeah, an additional 30. 10 of which are going that way, 20 of which are going this way. So yeah, I think we'll also find that... Okay, we theoretically should find that some of these are lower, but the dark matter residue being short means that it's not visible. Alright, so that is good. This is almost filled up, and then we're just going to start sinking the dark matter crystals, which is good by me. And then it's going to take quite a while for the time crystals to trickle through this whole giant system, but they should get there eventually. And then we're just going to have to worry about the fact that we don't actually have enough power shards currently to run the entire thing. Alright. So we are going to need to come back next stream and add more fuel generators onto the ionized fuel stuff so that we can actually use all the power shards. Because for now, that's going to be a bit of an issue. That's enough built up in there that, let's just call that overflow. So this will send 50 through. That will eventually backlog because we don't have the fuel generators to use all of that. And then once that happens, we'll send more through here, and by the time we run out of power shards in this box, this should have all saturated by then. So yeah, this is still down at 39 to 40, which will be changing in the immediate future. It's just a matter of how long it takes stuff to get across belts at this point. Let's get over here and see if these machines are speeding up. Yeah, you look good, actually. You look like you might be there already. Yeah. So you're going to get another time crystal now, and these are now running full speed, which means that the power shard production is now going full speed, and it's just a matter of time until it gets all the way along this long Mark 1 belt and starts registering on this. Alright, so the power situation remains extremely sketchy. We're going to be... So next stream, next time we come back to Satisfactory, we are going to be finishing off the upgrades to the ionized fuel, and then we're going to be moving on to the main power plant and the big project for the foreseeable future, which is, of course, nuclear power. I have Fixonium. I have Fixonium unlocked, and I want to just see what doing this is like. And this apparently produces dark matter residue, and the Fixonium uses that. So this 1-to-1, this is 20 dark matter residue to 1 Fixonium, and then it's 2 Fixonium to 20 dark matter residue. Yeah, so that's unsurprising. And there's also singularity cells to think about, which... Oh, I haven't actually unlocked yet. I can probably do that. If not, we can just put off that part of the nuclear power plant until I have. But we need to at least get up to the plutonium stage, or else the power grid is going to crash if we try to do anything. I'm honestly nervous about it crashing as it is. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Alright. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot. Next stream we're going to start working on a absolutely massive nuclear plant, and then after that, well, I mean that's gonna be the foreseeable future. So after that, we're gonna be continuing along to finish phase 5, complete the game, buy the golden nut, all that good stuff. So make sure to stop by next time if you're interested in that. I will be streaming Factorio tomorrow, where we are trying to set up a functional base on Volcanus. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing Satisfactory again. So make sure to stop by then if you're interested. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. And I alternate between factory building games, so currently Satisfactory and Factorio. So make sure to stop by for future streams if you're interested. Follow if you haven't already so you know when I'm live. And if you have already followed, thanks. That's pretty cool of you. And that's about it. I will see you guys next time. Bye.